So it was really apparent I had a problem. I just never knew to call myself an alcoholic. In my, growing up here, I just thought like an addict is, the guy in Detroit or guy in Flint, and he's like, 50, homeless, eating cereal out of hubcap, and I was only a teenager.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Recovery Happens. Today we're going to be sitting down with Andy as he offers hope to encourage recovery.
Life was like when I was growing up, kind of, normal. I mean, most other recovering addicts, alcoholics I met will talk about, had, coming from broken homes and, a horrible upbringing. I didn't really have that, Both my parents were in the home. I grew up right here in St. Clair County, and I never really wanted for anything. I mean, I guess the only thing I really remember is my dad would say things, at least in my opinion, a father shouldn't say to his son. My dad is, like myself, a recovering alcoholic, and to my knowledge hasn't picked up anything in 36 years, but also to my knowledge hasn't replaced anything. So, not having a way to, cope, his new drug choice was anger, and a lot of times he would take it out on me. And like I said, I mean, I don't really have a horror story of me, growing up. I just, remember growing up being content, and then as I grew older, I got discontent, and I thought like, well, people think I'm weird, and I realized I had a problem with drugs and alcohol really actually early on, almost the first time I got high. I mean, the first time that I ever did any alcohol, any drugs, I fell in love with that feeling. It was almost like, I was always looking for that missing piece of myself, everything's cool, but I'm missing one thing. If I could find that one thing, things would be great. And when the first time I got high, I thought I found it. I found that like confidence, that peace, that unity, that connection, and so it was really apparent I had a problem. I just never knew to call myself an alcoholic. In my, growing up here, I just thought like an addict is, the guy in Detroit or guy in Flint, and he's like, 50, homeless, eating cereal out of hubcap, and I was only a teenager. And even though I, spent days on end, doing cocaine and psychedelics, I just didn't know what was wrong with me. I just thought I was different and I was wrong. And when my parents or friends would tell me, like, just put it down, just don't do it, I can never do that. I mean, it was almost like being by myself or being in reality was unacceptable to me. I didn't go to treatment until much later, but I first got clean at the age of 18.
Okay. And what happened after that?
Well, at the age of 18, I got arrested 4 times, which led me to get a lawyer, which suggested that I start going to 12-step meetings, being that I was only 18 to 120 pounds, and any jail, even St. Clair County, wouldn't be fun for me. I've kind of stumbled into a meeting. Actually, it was a few blocks from where we are right now, and I've been here ever since. My life has been like, since recovery has happened, it has been very different, but yet very same at the same time. Like before I got here, I got high and used all the drugs I did because I thought like, man, I don't like living here, and my parents were different, or the cops stopped bugging me, or everything were different, things would be okay. But since I've been in recovery, those things have remained the same, but my ideas, my attitudes, my reactions, and kind of the emptiness I always felt here, that's different. So life still happens. As I was talking to you before, I have a lot going on with, separation and dealing with, actually, I lost a very close friend last night. And even though that's kind of some, crappy things to deal with, and I don't really feel the best, like, I have that composure, I have that peace. Just because I feel these things doesn't mean I have to go, the world's gonna end. I lost a friend last night to an overdose. It makes me feel when I lose friends, brothers, sisters to drugs and alcohol. Of course, it hurts. It's sad. I mean, it's normal. I mean, it's always a tragic thing. But I have come to realize that when dealing with addiction and alcoholism, it's a fatal disease, and like if a diabetic doesn't get their insulin or a cancer patient doesn't do their chemo, that they'll eventually die. And I'm just grateful that my treatment, my pathway of recovery was made available to me, and I try to, when something happens, well, like this happens, try to motivate myself to try to make myself more out there, make available, my pathway like men and women did for me when I came here. Some of the things that helped me with cope with that was one, just to talk about, to not keep what I think and what I feel bottled up inside. For me, if I leave that stuff in there, eventually it'll just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow to the point where either I do something, either go to the tools that helped me before, or I go get high. Meditation has been a big thing. I practice Buddhist Zen meditation on a regular basis. And like I said before, instead of just isolating in my room and, not talking to people and just kind of, instead of feeding into my depressive desire to isolate, I try to reach out and be of service to someone else that might be feeling like that person did, or, try to make more available what was made available to me back in 2006.
How often do you go to support groups?
I go daily if I can.
Do you find that helpful?
Yes, I find that very helpful.
Does that help heal the wounds that you have?
Yes, going to support groups daily helps heal the wounds I have. Also, I believe it gives me a purpose to, like I said, to kind of be a beacon of light, a vision of hope, like people were for me. I mean, to be honest, if someone was sitting across me struggling with drugs and alcohol, what would I say? I wouldn't say much of anything. I would just be there. When I was early on, the men that helped me the most didn't say much, but they just made it clear that if I wanted to cry, they would cry with me. That if I was angry, they would sit with me in my anger, and then finally, if I wanted to find a solution, find a better way to live, they would do that. So I guess, I don't know if that's really answering your question, but I was just making myself available and let them know that we'll figure it out. We'll figure this out together.
Thank you for watching this edition of Recovery Happens. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please give us a call at 888-68-BW-ROC. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Big Boy of Fort Gratiot.